I was trying to think about like how I first came across you guys. Like I mean, I know we go way back. Like, would it have been at the store? Like what, or would it have been like on the road, like doing sets? Like where? Huh? Because
Well,
I couldn't
wow.
put it. It could have been the
It might
store.
have
It
been
could
the
Could
have
have
been
been the
right
store.
there.
store.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I saw you in the green room back there one time, like before
That could be. That could
it
be.
might have been before Brewer went on.
Numbers are going up.
Yeah, I think because we knew you as, Ken Collins' friend,
I
and
knew. Well, yeah.
ran with him.
You're in the
And
comments.
when you
I
run
have
with
not
him, you're really running.
Yeah. I have not heard that name in a long time. Ken Collins, holy, easily like the funniest guy, not only on stage but in the green room, backstage, just hanging out, guys like chilling. Way too many brews, way too many, a little bit of everything. And if you wanted something, Ken was your guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And he's a tough dude.
Like good or
too.
bad.
He's a tough dude.
So hello everyone once again from the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Now I'm looking at the camera right now and I can see like dark lines in my eyes and I can also hear construction outside. It's 11 p.m. and in their attempts to build socialism, Vietnamese construction workers seem to start work at 6:30 and sometimes don't stop working till 3 a.m. despite how loud it is for everyone. So if you can hear people shoveling in the background, I do apologize. But today we're going to be talking about anti-woke comedy again. A couple weeks ago, I made that video about Roseanne Barr's comeback on Fox News, which was so terrible. And Roseanne does actually fit into this story because we're talking about Joe Rogan's new comedy club in Texas. Now, a lot of people have been branding this like the anti-cancel culture, the anti-woke comedy club. Joe Rogan himself hasn't necessarily branded it as that. I think it's pretty clear from how he acts these days. I guess it is supposed to be like some anti-woke safe space. So what I wanted to do in this video is just kind of like talk about Joe Rogan's like new views on comedy. And I want to actually just talk about the comedy club. We're going to see some videos of it and see some of the rules. And Hollywood Reporter actually wrote like a pretty good article about it. And we're just going to talk about everything today and talk about what can you expect at the new Joe Rogan owned anti-woke comedy club. But before we go any further, please like the video and in the comments, let me know what is the worst like anti-woke comedy you've seen. Jim Brewer or Roseanne are probably up there for me, and that's only in like the last 2 years. But let me know down in the comments. Also, follow me on social media at the Kavernacle on Twitter, but also on Instagram. Instagram is where I'm posting about my travels around Southeast Asia, and everything is archived on my highlight reels on my profile page. So if you care about any of that stuff, go check that out. And also, I've posted some exclusive travel content on my Patreon page, hoping to get another video up soon. And also, if you sign up to the Patreon, you get access to the Discord server and get access to my Nintendo Switch friend code. And also check out my subreddit and check out my second channel down in the description. So the press was really running with this like anti-cancel culture, anti-woke comedy club. Daily Mail, Joe Rogan opens alien-themed anti-cancel culture club in Austin called Comedy Mothership. $40 tickets resell online for $500. You just see other places running this headline like Newsmax. Now anyway, I just thought I'd go on Joe Rogan's Twitter because I haven't paid attention to him for about a year, I'd say. So I kind of want to get an insight into his mindset. But yeah, he's talking about the launch of this comedy club and selling tickets and stuff like that. But if you just go onto like his retweets, it's pretty clear he's going even further down the right-wing rabbit hole. So a guy called Jake Shields saying AI has been programmed to hate white people, and you guys might have seen this supposed like woke AI. Joe Rogan retweeting that. Joe Rogan retweeting stuff about Project Veritas. Joe Rogan tweeting stuff about vitamin D and COVID, talking about TikTok being a Chinese super weapon, retweeting libs of TikTok, probably posting some anti-trans stuff. Seems like he's still like firmly anti-woke and really pandering to this new right-wing audience. And like I've said in other videos, I used to listen to Joe Rogan occasionally, like back in the day, 2015, 2016, when he seemed like he was going in the more progressive direction. And I'd still watch like a specific episode if I found it interesting, but I pretty much haven't listened to any of them since like 2020 or something like that. But it's clear the pandemic, among many things, broke his brain. Him and Russell Brand seem to have had like the same kind of trajectory. Although Russell Brand was clearly more left-wing than Joe Rogan, they kind of have ended up in like the exact same place. Now, of course, like most of you, I didn't know Joe Rogan for anything but the podcast. Of course, I was raised in England, so most people don't know Joe Rogan for anything else. And a lot of you people as well, you might not know Joe Rogan for anything else. As well as being a podcast host, he is also an alleged comedian too, although I've never actually seen him tell a funny joke. But on that note, he did a podcast with Gina Carano recently, and they talk about what kind of comedy is funny right now. And I think it's very telling, and it kind of comes from the Elon Musk school of comedy. So let's have a look at this clip quick.
Companies.
The Babylon Bee out-onion the onion.
Amazing.
They're so funny. They're so consistently funny because the funniest shit right now is woke shit, and that's the shit that people on the left can't touch. So as a comic, you're left without ammunition. All the woke comics are terrible.
I know.
They're terrible. And that's why the funniest parody comedy now is coming out of the Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
Because what they're doing is poking fun at this most obvious, ridiculous shit.
It's funny.
It's truth.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's like, this is the one thing you're not allowed to touch. So they're running rampant if it wasn't for the Babylon Bee. So what happens? The Babylon Bee gets kicked off of Twitter, which is crazy.
They're taking a stand, too. They could take down that post and they could be back on.
If anyone you know thinks the Babylon Bee is actually funny, it's clear they have a terrible sense of humor. Like, I've made whole videos about the Babylon Bee. It really does not exist to tell jokes. It exists to really reaffirm right-wing viewpoints. Like, if you're a conservative, you'll like the Babylon Bee because it attacks conservative targets. You don't like the Babylon Bee because it's good satire, because it's not good satire. You don't like it because it's funny, because objectively it is really not funny. You just like it because it punches at targets that you also hate. So that's why Joe Rogan likes them recently, because of course Babylon Bee love people like Joe Rogan and Elon Musk, and also they attack people these people don't like, especially to do with things around the pandemic. And he's talking about it being like great ammunition. I've played for you sometimes those like Babylon Bee sketches, and they're so bad. They're so terrible.
You know, you're 20 minutes late.
Yeah, at Twitter we didn't have like start times. Schedules are a remnant of an oppressive colonialist regime.
We need to find someone who can inspect all of our outgoing... Miss, are you okay?
I'm sorry. I'm not really used to bosses using trigger words like demanding and inspect and work.
But this is a job.
We don't say that either.
Then how do you get any work? How do you get any stuff done? Did you have any questions for us?
Tons. Okay, first, you don't actually, like, expect me to come into the office, do you?
Well, how do you expect to get any work done, labor done, stuff done at the factory without coming into the factory?
Oh, so this is like a job.
We're from Los Angeles.
Just moved to Texas.
I figured. Oh, the California plates?
Well, yeah, and the masks. Inside your own house, no one else around. 2022.
We just want to be extra safe.
We feel naked without masks.
We'll probably wear them for the rest of our lives.
I live in that house over yonder. Name's Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. I'm Tiffany, she, her.
And I'm Steve, he, him.
What are your pronouns? Baby, he has a gun.
I'm calling the cops.
I'm recording you.
No.
Recording
It's
you.
okay. It's okay. It's just my sidearm. Everybody here has a gun.
Sorry, we don't really like guns. There's a lot of crime where we're from.
I understand. There's not a lot of crime here.
Why?
Because everybody here has a gun.
Anyone who finds this anti-woke comedy funny is just an idiot. And it's clear that Joe Rogan, in my opinion, was never really funny anyway. But now he's really playing into this like anti-woke stuff. He just isn't funny to anyone who doesn't already believe in the same ideology or kind of a similar ideology to these people who do find this anti-woke comedy so funny. I was trying to find the old stand-up clips, but I did find this post from like 9 years ago on the Joe Rogan subreddit. So just came home from a Joe Rogan stand-up. I was extremely disappointed. He just rambled on with no real indication that he prepared a set for the show. I paid $29 for the ticket, and the venue had a 2-item minimum. The food blows, what a waste. Anyway, I wanted to know if anyone has experienced his stand-up before. I don't think I had a single good laugh. I laughed harder at some guy moaning at the table next to me. Joe's set was pretty much him choosing a recent current event and describing it in an animated fashion. I know comedians use current events to deliver jokes, but those people had a punchline. Joe's had 0 punchline. Everything was predictable, long-winded, and uninteresting. Most of the audience in my immediate area weren't laughing very much either. Of course, people can find different things funny, but as I was watching old stand-up routines from him, I didn't find it funny, and it's funny someone posted on the Joe Rogan subreddit 9 years ago says he's not funny, but then this was going viral on Twitter like today, a post from like 2021 of Joe Rogan actually bombing during like this comedy podcast he does.
Always dressed like that? You always dress like your like own stepson or something?
Yes, sir.
He looks like he's like inmate 1, the unexpected COVID-19 release, where they sent a bunch of people back out in the streets.
I mean, to be that famous and to have so many fans and get like no laughs and attempt a joke is pretty amazing. Now we've kind of set the tone of like what Joe Rogan now thinks is funny, and if he is any good at comedy, there are loads of other videos talking about this specific issue. Now let's talk about his new comedy club. It's called Comedy Mothership, opening in Austin, Texas. And if you go on the website, you can see the $40 tickets, which are all sold out for the Joe Rogan and Friends stand-up shows. And of course, like the Mail article was saying, they're being resold for like $500. And on the website, it says, in 2022, the building was bought by comedian, podcaster, and commentator Joe Rogan. During the following year, the building was renovated under the design of Austin architect Richard Weiss to turn it into the Comedy Mothership, a stand-up comedy nightclub destination, fulfilling a dream and vision Joe Rogan had of providing a comedy community here in Austin that will draw comics from all around the world. So I just went on their Instagram page and recorded some of their most recent story. I'm gonna play some of it now so you guys can see what it's like.
Welcome to Comedy Mothership. A couple things before we get started. No heckling the show, no recording the show in any way. Bathrooms in the lobby. You can check your phone in the lobby too. Other than that, enjoy the show.
Take your seats. I'm about to bring up one of the greatest comedians that's ever walked the face of the planet, one of my dear friends, one of my personal heroes in comedy. Please give it up for the great and powerful Dave Chappelle.
So you might have noticed that guy speaking to the camera and he says about like putting your phones in the lobby. We're going to talk about that because the security is pretty tight at this place. Doesn't seem like a great place for freedom of speech if you ask me. But yeah, like I said, the Hollywood Reporter did a good article about this place. And I kind of want to stop at certain parts and kind of show you some clips of Joe Rogan, which kind of would give you an insight into what going to this comedy club might be like. So by James Hibbard, Joe Rogan opens his anti-cancel culture club in Austin. And then here's just a picture I found going around on social media. So unvaxxed sperm reads the poster held aloft by a woman standing outside the theater. And you know you're in the right place. Joe Rogan's new comedy club, Mecca, on Austin's historic 6th Street. Comedy Mothership enjoyed its opening night after 2.5 years of development. Comedy Mothership is the comedian and podcaster's effort to launch what he's described as an ideal venue for comics and an effort to terraform the Texas capital into a major live comedy hub. So, I'm drunk and on mushrooms in my new club, exclaimed Rogan while wearing a rather odd Obi-Wan-like sweater. This is as high as I've ever been on stage and I need to connect with this moment. You can't fire me from my own club, bitch. So I want to stop it there because something that Joe Rogan often does when he's doing comedy is getting like really, really drunk and like crashing the stage and stuff. So if he wants to do this at his comedy club, that's of course within his right because, you know, he owns the place. But maybe then you can expect him to be doing this more often. And then the treat that you will get is him acting like this on stage.
Don't tell us there's breakfast if there's not breakfast. I could have came down. I know I could come down to the restaurant and buy breakfast.
That's what white people call a continental breakfast.
I am so confused.
Hold on.
Breakfast.
Hold on.
But they want you to pay, and you're like, this is outrageous.
Well, no, like when you go to a hotel, William, and then what happened? Not only do we have to...
I don't pay for breakfast. I'm
Right.
Tony Hinchcliffe.
No, listen, Joe, it gets better.
Wait. You want me to come down for breakfast? And I come down for breakfast. You want money? What?
William?
I want a croissant for free.
You waiting for me to say William before
I
you
want
do
a
something?
sausage biscuit for free.
On Kill Tony.
We just did a 5-hour podcast and we're hammered. Cheers.
Cheers.
Joe, woo! John Marrero, ladies and gentlemen. One of my idols. One of my heroes. One of my best friends. Bert, I will buy you a house. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, that's like our third
We're
time.
surrounded by nerds.
It is. Wow. Incredible.
So I can't predict the future, but maybe I'm expecting a couple more scenes like the ones we've just seen of Joe Rogan just screaming while hammered, trying to tell jokes, but he's probably too hammered to realize what he's even saying, and just like kind of trying to get a reaction by screaming the same thing over and over again. Like, it's so cringe-inducing to watch this stuff. Can you guys all like the video just because I have to put myself through watching things like this for you guys? But anyway, moving on, the article says, the venue's theme is aliens meets Art Deco. There's a UFO above the door in the lobby, warning that hecklers will be alienated, and a Stargate-like arch over the main stage. The theatre is awash in black and purple. By Austin's comedy standards, it's easily the coolest looking venue in town. I like this part. The opening stretch of performances is billed as Joe Rogan and Friends, and the first night included Roganverse regulars like David Lucas, Ron White, Tim Dillon, Roseanne Barr, and Tony Hinchcliffe. The audience in attendance was pretty standard for Rogan shows, which means they over-index on the 3 Bs, bros, beards, and ball caps. Within seconds of the first comic taking the stage, a gay slur was thrown out, followed by jokes about trans people. The audience hooted. For the anti-cancel culture crowd, this is their new safe space. Imagine how that room smells, and imagine the types of people who are going to like the opening night with Joe Rogan. Let's just say a high percentage of them would probably be on steroids and wouldn't be vaccinated and are probably libertarians as well. But also I like that Roseanne Barr is featuring in this because, as we've seen, Joe Rogan is both an amazing comic who has loads of great new material, now he's anti-woke, and Roseanne Barr recently had a great comedy special on Fox, where she also showed off her amazing new anti-woke material, and I'm sure when she brings it to Joe Rogan's new comedy club, she's also going to be a big hit.
No concept of reality. They've been living in a bubble forever. Asking questions have nothing to do with the real world. What is my gender, Mom? What is my gender? Your gender is get a job. That's your gender. What are they thinking? Ask what is a woman? They don't know that. That one they're asking all the time, what is a woman? I'll tell you what a woman is. A woman is me. That's what a woman is, okay? A woman is someone who cleans up everybody else's shit. That's what a woman is. A woman is somebody whose boobs hang down to her knees with a prolapsed uterus from giving birth to 5 ungrateful little privileged never had to work for anything in their whole damn life. My pronouns are kiss my. It was just great. How many of you got the backs? Few of you probably had to get it right. What happened to people that they start believing for some reason that this government had their best interest at heart?
So I, for one, I'm looking forward to a Joe Rogan and Roseanne Barr collab at the new anti-woke comedy club where you just make jokes about trans people and gay people, because as we already seen, Roseanne Barr has made that so funny, and we definitely need more of that. So the article going on to say, later during a Q&A with the audience, Rogan was asked how it felt having his club finally open. It doesn't feel real. I know it's real, but it doesn't feel real. I was super nervous today. I'm done with milestones. I think I just like risks. He also noted that his dream podcast guest would be Hunter Biden. I can turn this around for you, Rogan said. If my dad had Alzheimer's and I was doing coke, I would have done the exact same stuff as you. I really want to get him on. So just like all the anti-woke comedy I now see, telling jokes about Hunter Biden. So I guess conservatives now have a third or fourth joke. Here's the thing I like, right? So I already said about the audience being libertarian. Joe Rogan has kind of cultivated a libertarian audience because of his like more libertarian views. That's kind of like why he moved to Texas in the first place. So get a load of the security at this place. So the logistics. Rogan has helped lead the practice of banning phones at comedy shows. So it's no surprise those are sealed in a pouch after entering. Security is a bit intense, as you have to get your face scanned like you're going through Heathrow Airport. One would think that this would freak out some of Rogan's conspiracy-minded fans. Once inside, the venue is divided into two stages, a headliner room called Fat Man, and a smaller stage called Little Boy. That's nice. Even the main room is modest enough, so there are no bad seats. Rogan has said that he hired the best people from his former stomping grounds at the Comedy Store in LA to run the club. The floor seating feels rather cramped. Even the wait staff were struggling to get through. And Roseanne chiming in, I want to thank Joe for building this wonderful mothership for comedians. It's so great in the green room with everybody up there being drunk and smoking pot. Just like at the Comedy Store when Mitzi Shore was still alive and comedy was king. Barr then got into a set riffing on Satanic Disney. After 30 years of fighting ABC to have black writers and black characters on my show, then having the same liberals turn around and call me a racist, it really me off, she fumed. I'm sure Roseanne will be a big hit with all the 26-year-old libertarians going to Joe Rogan's new comedy club. So overall, with the best comedians out there like Joe Rogan and Roseanne, I'm sure this will be a massive success and will really pioneer hilarious comedy. Of course, I don't think there's going to be too many funny things coming out of this place. Like I said, I don't find Joe Rogan funny. Roseanne Barr apparently used to be funny, but as we've seen, she clearly isn't funny anymore. But this probably will be successful, especially if Joe Rogan goes there and gets more famous people like Dave Chappelle. As you've seen, people are charging up to $500 to resell their tickets. So yeah, like I'm sure a lot of people will go. I'm sure it'll be successful for the foreseeable future. But again, I just don't think anti-woke comedy is ever going to be that good for a multitude of reasons. But Joe Rogan thinking like the Babylon Bee is now like the Onion, is like better than the Onion even, shows where his mindset is. And again, he wasn't even talented to begin with at stand-up. Even his own fans used to say he's not actually funny at stand-up, he's just a good podcast host. So we will see where all of this goes. If he can actually book some funny people. I would actually love Joe Rogan to do a random stand-up routine at some like random place in the UK and see the reception he gets. But yeah, probably be successful, probably produce lots of cringe-worthy routines, but we're probably not going to see any of them because the security is so tight, you're not allowed your phone, and they're also keeping a database of your pictures, I guess. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching.